Hey everybody, this is graphic designer Roberto Blake, and in today's video I'm going to talk about my thoughts on the new Adobe Creative Cloud 2014. If you're just finding me for the first time, I usually do graphic design videos on Mondays, tech videos on Tuesdays, and Photoshop CC tutorial videos on Thursdays, so don't forget to subscribe to get all of those videos. Now, it's been about maybe 2 weeks as of the making of this video since Adobe Creative Cloud 2014 came out, and I didn't do a video about it right away like I planned because I wanted to play with some of the features a lot more. I wanted to get more in depth with it, more familiar with it, so I could give you guys my impressions and good information on it instead of just a cursory, first glance, fanboy, enthusiastic, excited kind of video about it. I really want to talk about what I think is important about the release of Adobe Creative Cloud 2014, just very briefly. So I'm not going to get super heavy into the features because I'm going to do a dedicated video to that, and I'm going to do it through my tutorials, but I noticed something really interesting about Creative Cloud 2014. It has finally really widened the gap between Adobe Creative Cloud subscribers and Adobe CS6 and CS5 and 5.5 users. Before, the differences between people on the perpetual license were negligible. Even I will admit to that, even though I still feel like those features were super important. You could get by without them per se and still be super competitive and productive. However, if you're not at least using Adobe CS6, I don't feel that that is the case anymore because of the new features across the board in Creative Cloud 2014. When Creative Cloud first came out, one of the big things that they did was they improved the workflows, the overall performance in the back end with the Mercury playback engine that they introduced in CS6, and they also just fine-tuned everything. But in Creative Cloud 2014, all the processing, selections, different things in your applications, the refinements, overall productivity, the tools being smarter is just so much more far ahead of the game than it ever was. In Photoshop alone, we have new tools between smarter smart guides, better layer compositions, the ability to do selective focus based on depth of field. I mean, these are important features that literally turn hours or minutes worth of work into minutes and seconds worth of work, and that's a big deal from a cost standpoint. If you were complaining about the cost of Creative Cloud, subscription models versus perpetual license and paying all this money to Adobe, it's not even that much money forever. The difference is the time savings that you get back. You can make back up money, you can offset the cost of Creative Cloud, but you can't get back time that you were wasting, and neither can your clients. This is what's going to be different. If you're using Creative Cloud 2014 now, you're just going to be faster and more productive, especially if you already were an experienced Adobe user to begin with. But even if you're somebody new, you can do what might take somebody 30 minutes. You can do that work in 5 minutes now, depending on what we're talking about. And I'm not exaggerating in any way when I say that. The selection tools are just better than they've ever been. They're more precise, they're more accurate, and there's all these other just minor tweaks and things that are requests that we've been asking for the last decade that we just finally got. And again, if you want to look up the features list and the comparison, you can do that on the adobe.com website. I'm going to do it in a different video. But my point is that the reasons that people have for Creative Cloud not being what they want to do primarily revolve around cost. And I understand that argument completely. Here's the thing. We're talking about roughly $1.60 a day. Granted, that's money every day that you're shelling out to Adobe, but it's $1.60 a day, and what you get is the ability to use all of the most highly advanced industry software across multiple verticals at any given time, the latest version, all those features, cloud storage and backup, syncing of settings, etc. All these things at literally less than $2 a day. $2 a day. If you feel that $2 a day in terms of the cost of doing business is going to break your bank, stop drinking coffee, stop chewing bubble gum. There's somewhere that you're spending that $2 every day. I guarantee it. I used to break it down and say that, phone bill, cable bill, but that was a naive way of doing it and no one bought that. But if I break it down to the daily cost, because the freelancers, people say that, freelancers hate Creative Cloud because of their cash flow situation. $2 a day. $2 a day. If your business model cannot support $2 a day per Creative Cloud license, then that's not Adobe doing something wrong in terms of price gouging, in my opinion. That means that you just really haven't thought through how you make this work, because in my mind, the tool set and the suite is too powerful to pass up at that cost, and these new advancements make it even more so. Now, something else that Adobe introduced, getting away from the pricing thing in a little bit here, is for all the photographers, and the photography community was the biggest group to really come out against Creative Cloud. Now, without being a previous CS user, what have you, anybody who wants to just use Photoshop gets Photoshop and Lightroom, and the Lightroom mobile, and a Behance Pro membership, and the Creative Cloud storage, all for $9.99 a month. $9.99 a month, which means that that comes out to about 35 cents a day after taxes. So for 35 cents a day, you get the industry standard Photoshop instead of paying $1,000 for a perpetual license that will eventually, again, be out-of-date software, non-competitive software that can't necessarily be upgraded unless you go to the subscription model, etc., etc., etc. 30 cents a day. So, again, I'm going to leave price alone going forward from now on. That's my thought on that. Now, in terms of some of the awesome features, Photoshop got huge upgrades. Dreamweaver got amazing upgrades. And again, I'll have to dedicate a whole video to that. Dreamweaver and Muse, web design is going to be faster and quicker than ever before if you're a hand coder and you're doing front-end development. I know that you can use Notepad++. I know that you can use IDEs like Eclipse and so on. I know that they're free, but the thing is, the ability to color code things and organize and sort things in Dreamweaver has always been a plus. But for you on the development side, and for those of you doing a lot of complicated hand coding and nesting with divs and so on, you can actually use a DOM manipulation mode in Dreamweaver now live and go ahead and move your stacking without disrupting anything and worrying about whether it's going to break anything in close brackets and things like that. So that's extremely cool. And on the client side, you can incorporate these features that allow your clients the easier ability to update and modify things on their own without having to bug you about it. So again, very cool. You can manipulate certain things in the live view. It's just really freaking sweet now. And in my opinion, between Dreamweaver and Muse, especially with the ability now to handle sites like WordPress in Dreamweaver and to be able to do all these things with mobile in Muse, you have everything you need as far as a front-end web designer or even as a web developer to create engaging experience across multimedia. And that's the new thing with our industry in creative services and graphic and web design is you're not a print designer or a web designer anymore. You're a singular designer who is responsible for making experiences that translate everywhere. And that's the new expectation because people are desegregating their media. It's all becoming integrated media. They expect consistency across print, web, mobile, digital, video, and you have to be able to deliver on that. And unfortunately, that means that you don't have the luxury of being specialists anymore. But I think that's an exciting development, and I think Adobe has that well in mind. That's why Adobe has prioritized mobile, social, and cloud in everything that they do, because now it's a global marketplace. A lot of us are working remotely. I know I certainly am. So we're leveraging the cloud to do those kind of things, to be able to share, to be able to collaborate, etc. We're finding most of our inspiration in social media. We're marketing and promoting ourselves through social media. So again, the new features in Adobe are all built out with that in mind. As you know, obviously watching this YouTube channel, I do a lot of video production stuff. So when Adobe released this, I was really key on what are the new video production features, and there are actually quite a few of them. I can actually finally do masking directly in Adobe Premiere for very simple things instead of having to do it in After Effects. And if I do a motion graphics title in After Effects with live text, I can go ahead and edit that text and change it if I need to, or if there's a typo or something like that in Premiere Pro without having to go back to After Effects if I don't want to. So again, that's also very cool. In Premiere Pro, I can actually blur out people's faces now. So if I'm doing, a documentary or something and someone's like, hey, I don't want my face in there, I can just do that with a few simple clicks instead of having to do something complicated in After Effects. So again, huge time savers there. In Adobe Audition, the noise capture software is severely improved. So processing the audio so that it's clear and crisp in your videos and doesn't have a bunch of ambient noise going on is easier than it's ever been. And it's a lot more accurate. After Effects got huge improvements in terms of its 3D capabilities. So you have all these different things going on that just makes life easier and simpler InDesign and Illustrator got a whole bunch of features that are going to make the print side easier in terms of EPUB, logo design, and even vector illustration outright with some new smooth tools and things like that. So there's just all these new things that just set you apart and widen the gap between people on the older software and on the perpetual license model and the CC software, the Creative Cloud, the subscription model. You get these quote unquote super elite, super productivity focused features, and it's only going to keep widening as the gap goes on. So it means that turnaround times for people using Creative Cloud are going to be faster. The ability to do more and do it more quickly and to do it across multimedia is going to continue to get more and more important as the marketplace moves in that direction and as technology and things like Apple move in that direction. Apple has gone to seamless integration between its hardware and its experiences, and it's going to set the tone for what people expect in terms of their experience in design. Google's been focusing and becoming very design-centric and very presentation-centric as well. So again, there's going to be more devices that you're going to have to design for, and that's the new media now. And it's going to be everywhere. And those experiences aren't going to be just limited to these handheld smart devices. People are going to be putting them up on their television screens too. They're going to be interacting with augmented reality. They're going to be interacting with digital out-of-home display advertising. So again, this is the future direction, and it's going to be based on the Creative Cloud from the creative development standpoint. That's where it's going. So if you're not on Creative Cloud, if you're not mastering these new skills, if you're not mastering the new software, if you're not doing an integrated workflow and learning at least how some of these things work together and getting a little savvy in a little bit of everything, you're going to be left behind. And that's just what the reality of the industry is going to be going forward. And I know it's scary, and I know it could be expensive in some cases to move in this direction and to learn new things, but I highly encourage people to go in this direction. And again, I'm not being paid by Adobe to do this and to tell people to, hey, go out and buy Creative Cloud. I'm just saying that from my standpoint, I don't think that I could be successful if I wasn't using Creative Cloud on some level. I think it would really hinder me. I might be able to be successful, but I would have to work considerably harder to do the things that I do literally every single day and be effective and productive at them and just do my best work. But anyway, these are mostly my opinions. I know that some of you have a different opinion and that you've had different experiences with the Creative Cloud, so definitely feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section below. Just try to be respectful of others when you're doing that. Again, check out the other videos in my series. Like this video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching.